I think particularly for an apartment building where they're making a long-term commitment to provide an amenity to a tenant that they want to attract, they're going to want to provide an appropriate level of parking that meets that tenant's needs, that attracts them to that building. And I think apartment buildings, particularly anything newly built in the last 20 years, has plenty of parking. They want to do that to serve their tenants.
So I think we should be protecting the city, protecting our parking limits.
I think from our perspective as the city, we don't necessarily have an interest in having a bunch of parking that may not be used and they may not think is appropriate. Parking lots cost a lot to build, and yet they don't generate much tax revenue. They're not placed for anybody to live.
I would say, like in my experience in living in Richfield, that we do have like vast amounts of parking space from an era when everybody drove to these huge big box stores. And I know this is residential. And I think that it does behoove Richfield to look at our parking requirements overall, just because we do have such a large amount of wasted parking lot space.
It is my opinion that 1.5 spaces per unit seems reasonable. In the fact that we could even add language to lower it to just 1 space per unit concerns me, especially in developments that we've seen lately are really squeezed in to confined geographical areas, and I'm worried that simply parking won't be adequate.
Yeah, I drive by there every day. There's a brand new development, and it's completely undersized for parking. So, to see this go, or even be recommended to go down from 1.5 to 1.25, sounds like a nightmare to me.